We've all been there, fellas. You meet a woman, you hit it off, and you're convinced she's different from the rest. But sooner or later, she says or does something that feels off, something that makes your gut twist or your confidence dip. It's easy to ignore these warning signs because you like her, you're attracted, and you're hopeful things might change. But listen carefully. Ignoring red flags never ends well. When a woman says or does certain things, it's not just a passing issue. It's a clear sign you need to walk away immediately. Staying in these situations won't make her respect or value you more. It'll only diminish your self-respect and invite more problems down the line. Recognizing when to leave isn't about being overly sensitive or running at the first hint of trouble. It's about being aware, smart, and protective of your own peace and dignity. I get it. Sometimes it's tempting to stick around, hoping you can fix things or that she'll eventually see your worth. But here's the reality. No relationship built on disrespect or manipulation can ever become healthy. If she's willing to cross certain boundaries or treat you a certain way early on, imagine what she'll do once she's comfortable. In this guide, I'm going to walk you through exactly what to look for. I'll give you clear examples of behaviors and phrases that you should never tolerate from a woman. If she does any of these things, you need to be strong enough to stand up, walk out, and never look back. Trust me, you'll thank yourself later. Your confidence, your mental health, and your future happiness depend on your ability to spot these signals and take immediate action. Let's jump in. 1. She openly disrespects you in public. We've all seen it. A man standing awkwardly as his partner criticizes or mocks him openly in front of friends, family, or even strangers. Guys, this is one of the clearest signs that a woman does not respect you, and it should never be tolerated. You may be tempted to shrug it off, thinking she's just joking or that it's her way of being playful. But ask yourself honestly, would you ever embarrass someone you genuinely care about in public? Exactly. If a woman feels comfortable disrespecting you in front of others, it's usually because you've allowed her to get away with smaller forms of disrespect in private. Disrespect never improves on its own. It only escalates. When you're publicly humiliated, your dignity and your sense of self-worth take a direct hit, leaving you feeling drained and unsure of yourself. The longer you stay in that dynamic, the weaker you become emotionally, and the less likely you are to stand up for yourself in the future. Consider this real-life scenario. You're at dinner with mutual friends, and she casually mentions your recent promotion, but follows up immediately with a sarcastic comment about how surprised she is because he can barely handle basic things around the house. Everyone laughs awkwardly, but you feel that sting deeply. It's not just a harmless joke, it's a subtle yet powerful way of undermining your confidence. Public disrespect is a tactic of emotional dominance. It says clearly, I don't value you, and neither should anyone else. If you accept this treatment, others will also begin to treat you with less respect. Your silence or tolerance sends a message that it's okay, making the behavior acceptable. Walking away from this situation isn't just about pride, it's about preserving your mental health and self-esteem. When you have clear boundaries, and you refuse to tolerate disrespectful behavior from anyone, especially a woman you're involved with, you build an internal strength that is unshakable. Understand this clearly. How she speaks about you in public shows precisely how she sees you in private. If she feels no hesitation in belittling you in front of others, she doesn't truly respect you behind closed doors either. She may apologize later, saying she didn't mean it, or you're too sensitive, but apologies without changed behavior are manipulation, plain and simple. Real strength as a man means knowing exactly where your lines are drawn and having the courage to defend them, even if it means leaving a woman you care about. This isn't about proving you're tough or being overly defensive. It's about valuing yourself enough to say, I will never accept disrespect from anyone. The moment you realize a woman is intentionally hurting your reputation or making you look weak in public, you need to get up and walk away. 2. She constantly compares you to other men. Guys, have you ever been in that awkward spot where the woman you're seeing casually says something like, my friend's boyfriend just took her to Paris. Why don't you ever do something like that? Maybe it wasn't Paris. Maybe it was about the car he drives, the job he holds, or the money he makes. You know the feeling, right? That sting of inadequacy hits immediately, leaving you questioning your own worth. Let's slow down a bit and talk about why this matters. A relationship is supposed to feel like a team. You and your partner against the challenges of the world. If the woman you're dating keeps bringing other men into the picture to show you what you're not, she's setting you up to feel inadequate on purpose. And here's a truth many men miss. She knows exactly what she's doing. This isn't accidental. It's a subtle, and sometimes not so subtle, way of controlling you by keeping you off balance, insecure, and eager to please. Imagine you're having a relaxed night watching Netflix, feeling good about life. Suddenly, she looks at her phone and says something like, "Wow, Jessica's husband just surprised her with a brand new SUV, must be nice." Instantly, your chill evening turns sour, right? Even though you know logically you shouldn't feel bad. After all, you work hard, you're honest, you're doing your best. Her words plant doubt in your head. She just implied you're not doing enough without directly saying it. This is manipulative behavior, plain and simple. Let me give you another scenario. Say you're at a friend's barbecue, surrounded by familiar faces, having a good time. Out of nowhere, she casually says in front of everyone, "You know, Tom was saying earlier how he's running a marathon next month. You barely make it to the gym once a week." Now you're the target of attention and jokes. Everyone laughs awkwardly, and you brush it off with a forced smile, but deep down you feel small. She might later dismiss it, saying it was just harmless teasing. But guys, it's not. It's calculated disrespect, and you deserve better. A healthy partner doesn't belittle or undermine your achievements, no matter how small or big they are. Instead, she supports, encourages, and builds you up. A woman who truly values you will never intentionally place you in competition with other men, especially men who have nothing to do with your relationship. Comparison isn't motivation, it's poison. Think about your friends who've ended up staying with women who consistently compared them to others. You probably noticed a change, less confidence, lowered motivation, and a diminished sense of self-worth. That's exactly what constant comparisons do. They chip away at your sense of self. Before you know it, you're spending all your energy trying to meet impossible expectations, feeling drained and unhappy. So listen carefully, because this matters. The moment you realize she's always comparing you, whether directly or subtly, to someone else, it's a flashing sign that it's time to walk away. Don't stick around trying to prove your worth or convince her you're good enough. Realize your own value. 3. She uses emotional blackmail to control you. You know that sinking feeling when you're planning a night out with friends and suddenly your phone buzzes with her text, "Oh, guess I'll just spend another lonely night by myself." Instantly, you're torn. You know you haven't done anything wrong, you just wanted some healthy time with your boys, yet suddenly you're trapped in this emotional tug of war. This, my friend, is emotional blackmail, and if she's using it, you need to walk away. Let's dive deeper into this because it's something men often brush aside. We tend to think, it's not that serious, she's just feeling down, or maybe she just misses me. But here's the hard truth. Emotional blackmail isn't about love or genuine affection. It's about control. She's leveraging your compassion, guilt, or fear of losing her to manipulate you into doing exactly what she wants. Imagine a scenario where you're planning to take a weekend trip, something you've been excited about for months. Suddenly, she starts acting distant. When you confront her, she breaks down crying, saying, "If you love me, you wouldn't leave me alone right now." Instantly, you're consumed by guilt. You cancel your trip, sacrificing your happiness to please her, and what happens next time you have plans? She repeats this tactic, knowing it works. Eventually, you stop planning anything altogether. That's how subtle yet devastating emotional blackmail can be. Or maybe you've seen a friend go through something similar. Maybe he loves basketball, and it's always been his escape. But suddenly, his girlfriend repeatedly interrupts his games, messaging about how miserable she feels without him, or hinting that she might harm herself. Out of worry and guilt, your friend stops playing altogether. He gives up a passion, because he's terrified of what she'll do if he doesn't. You might think these situations sound extreme, but they're common and real. Emotional blackmail wears a friendly disguise. It pretends to be genuine concern, sadness, or neediness. But in reality, it's toxic control designed to keep you exactly where she wants you. She'll use your kindness and empathy against you, ensuring you feel responsible for her emotional state no matter what. Real love respects boundaries, supports personal interests, and encourages freedom. Healthy relationships thrive on trust, not manipulation. Emotional blackmail tears down trust by turning affection into obligation. If a woman frequently uses guilt, threats, or emotional outbursts to influence your choices, she doesn't truly care about your happiness. She cares about control. The danger of staying with someone who uses emotional blackmail is that over time, you lose touch with yourself. You forget your own wants, needs, and dreams, constantly walking on eggshells to avoid triggering her emotions. Eventually, you become anxious, resentful, and deeply unhappy, losing the core of who you are. Here's the bottom line. No matter how much you like or love her, emotional blackmail is never acceptable. The moment you recognize this behavior, you must draw a line in the sand. Have the courage to walk away, understanding clearly that you can't fix this issue for her. It's not your responsibility to manage someone else's emotional instability or manipulative tendencies. 4. She repeatedly lies or hides things from you. We've all been there, guys. Something doesn't feel right, and your gut is telling you something's off. Maybe she tells you she's at home, but your buddy spots her downtown grabbing coffee with someone else. Or maybe you catch her in smaller lies that don't seem like a big deal at first. But listen carefully. Repeated dishonesty or hiding things is a huge red flag, and it's never something you should overlook. Let's break it down. Trust is the core of any solid relationship. Without it, you're always questioning, wondering, and worrying. No man can be happy or secure in a relationship where doubt rules. If a woman is comfortable lying to you, even about small things, it means she's already comfortable disrespecting you. Lies build walls, secrets create distance. Eventually, you realize you barely know the person you're sharing your life with. Think about your friend Mike. He dated a woman who always seemed vague about her weekend plans. At first he brushed it off, thinking she needed space. But over time, her stories never matched up. She'd say she spent the day with her sister. But Mike later found out through mutual friends that she wasn't with family. She was out with people she swore she'd stopped hanging around with. Each lie chipped away at Mike's confidence, leaving him suspicious, anxious, and deeply insecure. Eventually, Mike lost himself trying to piece together her constant deception. Or maybe you've experienced this yourself. You ask her directly about something, and she deflects or makes you feel crazy for asking. You might feel guilty or paranoid, wondering if you're overreacting. But you're not. A partner who respects you will always value honesty, even if the truth is uncomfortable. They won't leave you guessing or digging for answers. Take another instance. Say you're on vacation, relaxing at the beach, feeling like life couldn't get better. Then you glance over and notice she's quickly hiding her phone when you look her way. Your stomach knots instantly. Suddenly, your peaceful getaway is overshadowed by suspicion. When you finally confront her, she dismisses your concerns, saying you're being jealous or possessive. But deep down, you know the truth, something isn't right. It's crucial to recognize that lying isn't just about cheating. It can be about finances, friendships, family issues, or even something as simple as her true feelings or intentions. Whatever the reason, consistent lying points to deeper issues. A woman who genuinely values you will not feel the need to hide or manipulate the truth. She'll want you involved in her life, not kept at arm's length, guessing at reality. Here's the uncomfortable reality. Once lying becomes normal in your relationship, trust is almost impossible to rebuild. You're constantly left wondering if she's telling the truth. You'll start second-guessing every little detail, where she's going, who she's texting, and what she's really thinking. This kind of constant suspicion drains you mentally and emotionally, eventually leaving you exhausted and miserable. So fellas, listen clearly. If a woman repeatedly lies or hides things from you, It's time to protect yourself and walk away. You can't build happiness on shaky ground. 5. She shows zero appreciation for your efforts. You know exactly how it feels, don't you? You've gone out of your way, putting time, thought, and genuine effort into something special. Maybe you surprised her with dinner at her favorite restaurant, fixed something around her apartment, or rearranged your schedule just to support her on an important day. But instead of gratitude or even simple acknowledgement, you're met with silence, criticism, or indifference. Let's talk about why this matters, because appreciation is more than just words. It's fundamental to a healthy relationship. If you've ever been in a situation where your efforts go unnoticed or are dismissed entirely, you understand how demoralizing that is. At first you brush it off, thinking maybe she's stressed, distracted, or having a bad day, but soon enough it becomes a pattern. Take this example. My buddy Eric dated someone for nearly 2 years. Eric was a thoughtful guy, always planning weekend trips, sending supportive texts before big meetings, even doing small thoughtful gestures like picking up her favorite coffee. Yet somehow, no matter how much he did, she never acknowledged it. She'd casually say things like, "Oh, this place again?" Or, "You always do this. Can't you think of anything new?" Eric began to feel his efforts were worthless. Eventually, he stopped trying altogether, becoming withdrawn and unhappy, constantly questioning his own value. Or maybe you've experienced something similar personally. You worked hard to get tickets to an event she'd talked about endlessly, thinking you'd impress her. When you finally told her, expecting excitement, all she said was, "Oh, great," before going back to scrolling through her phone. You were left standing there, confused and hurt, wondering why you bothered at all. Here's the uncomfortable truth, guys. When a woman continuously ignores or trivializes your efforts, it isn't accidental. It's a reflection of how little she truly values you. Genuine appreciation doesn't cost anything. It's effortless when someone truly cares about you. When someone respects you and sees your worth, even small gestures earn gratitude and warmth. Let's consider another scenario. Imagine you've spent weeks planning a surprise birthday party for her. You've contacted her friends, set everything up secretly, and even got her favorite cake. When the moment arrives, instead of excitement or appreciation, she reacts with mild annoyance, saying something like, "I told you I don't like surprises," or worse yet, "You shouldn't have bothered." Instantly, the joy is drained from your heart, replaced by embarrassment and confusion. You ask yourself, why am I putting myself through this? Appreciation isn't about ego. It's about respect and emotional reciprocity. If a woman can't recognize or appreciate your effort, it's often a sign she feels entitled, that she expects your attention, energy, and kindness without offering anything in return. Over time, this destroys your confidence, makes you feel invisible, and eventually leads you to believe your efforts aren't worth much at all. Real talk, you deserve better. You deserve someone who lights up when you walk into the room, someone who notices your gestures and thanks you sincerely, someone who makes you feel your effort is always worthwhile. A good woman will inspire you to do more, not because you have to, but because you want to. So, if you're noticing a pattern where your best efforts go completely unappreciated, don't keep trying to prove yourself or win her acknowledgement. 6. She threatens to leave at every argument. Have you ever been in an argument with a woman and the first thing she says is, "Maybe we should just end this," or "I'm done"? If you've been there, you know exactly how stressful and exhausting this can be. Instead of calmly working things out, every disagreement turns into an ultimatum, one that leaves you walking on eggshells and constantly fearing abandonment. Here's the thing, healthy relationships have arguments. Disagreements are normal, they're part of life, but there's a massive difference between a healthy argument aimed at solving issues and threats meant to control or frighten you into submission. If her first reaction is always to threaten leaving, she's using your emotional investment in the relationship against you. It's emotional terrorism designed to keep you anxious, unsure, and on edge. Think about your friend Jason. Jason dated a woman who seemed great initially. but every time they had a minor disagreement, she'd dramatically pack her bags or send a text like, "Maybe we should break up." Jason, terrified of losing her, would immediately backtrack, apologize even if he'd done nothing wrong, and give in to whatever she wanted. Eventually, he stopped voicing his opinions altogether, terrified that she'd leave if he upset her. He lost his sense of self entirely, stuck in an emotional cage of constant fear. Maybe you've experienced this personally. You planned a night out with your coworkers, something innocent and straightforward, but the moment she learns about it, she explodes, threatening to break up unless you cancel. You're instantly trapped. You don't want to lose her, so you cancel your plans. But guess what happens next time you plan anything she doesn't like? Exactly. Another threat. It becomes an endless cycle of giving in to avoid confrontation or abandonment. Or imagine you're simply expressing how you feel. Maybe you're upset that she didn't keep a promise, or you just want clarity on something bothering you. Instead of hearing you out, she says sharply, "If you're unhappy, why don't you just leave?" Now you're questioning your feelings, your right to speak up, and whether you deserve better. This is manipulation, plain and simple. She's shifting the focus from the real issue onto your fear of losing her, making you doubt your own judgment. Here's another example. Maybe you've seen your buddy Mark go through this. Mark was confident, funny, and full of energy until he started dating someone who constantly threatened to leave whenever he voiced even a minor concern. Over time, Mark became withdrawn, insecure, and quiet. Every conversation turned into an emotional negotiation, draining his mental health and happiness. He eventually realized the truth. The relationship had turned toxic because he allowed her threats to control him. Guys, a woman who genuinely loves and respects you will never use the threat of leaving as a tool. She'll want to resolve conflicts, find common ground, and strengthen your connection, not destroy it. If a woman is constantly dangling the relationship's end over your head, she's not trying to fix anything. She's trying to break you down, strip you of your self-respect, and control your emotions. 7. She refuses to take accountability for anything. You've seen this before, haven't you? Something goes wrong and suddenly everything is your fault. It could be small things like a missed reservation or big issues like trust or communication problems, but somehow it always circles back to you. If you're nodding along, you know exactly how exhausting this is. A woman who refuses to take accountability isn't just frustrating, she's toxic, and it's a clear sign that you need to walk away. Let's get real about accountability. Every healthy relationship thrives on both people being able to admit when they're wrong. Mistakes happen, nobody's perfect. But if your partner continuously blames you for everything, you're stuck in a lose-lose situation. You're never right, and you can never truly relax because you're always waiting for the next accusation. Think about it. Your buddy Luke was dating a woman who was constantly late. Every single time, she'd stroll in half an hour late. And when Luke pointed out how it made him feel disrespected, she'd flip it back, saying things like, "Maybe if you weren't so uptight, this wouldn't be an issue." Suddenly, Luke was the problem, not her disrespectful behavior. Over time, Luke started questioning himself, wondering if maybe he was the issue. The truth? She simply didn't want to admit she was wrong. Or maybe you've experienced this personally. You're planning a trip together and she forgets to book the hotel even though you reminded her multiple times. Now you're stuck scrambling at the last minute, stressed and frustrated. Instead of apologizing or owning up, she snaps at you, saying, "Well, if you had reminded me clearly enough, this wouldn't have happened." Just like that, you're left feeling guilty, even though you clearly did your part. Sound familiar? This pattern isn't limited to minor issues either. Imagine confronting her about something more serious, like finding inappropriate messages on her phone. Instead of being open and honest, she immediately turns defensive, accusing you of invading her privacy or calling you insecure. You're left doubting yourself, feeling guilty for even bringing it up, despite clear evidence that she's in the wrong. You might have seen friends go through this too, like Tyler, who tried to have an honest conversation with his girlfriend about her constant mood swings and harsh words. instead of listening or acknowledging Tyler's feelings. She accused him of being overly sensitive and unable to handle a strong woman. Tyler ended up apologizing even though he did nothing wrong. Over time, he became withdrawn, avoiding any discussion to prevent confrontation. Here's the harsh reality. A woman who refuses accountability creates a toxic environment. She makes you constantly second-guess your feelings, opinions, and sanity. You end up stuck in a constant emotional loop where every argument leaves you feeling worse and worse about yourself. The damage isn't just temporary, it can leave lasting emotional scars. A healthy partner acknowledges mistakes openly without hesitation. She doesn't deflect or project blame onto you. When she's wrong, she'll own it, apologize sincerely, and work to fix things. Accountability isn't weakness, it's strength. It builds trust, respect, and genuine love. Without it, you're just navigating a minefield, afraid of making a wrong step. Listen, you deserve better than being the perpetual scapegoat. Your peace of mind, self-respect, and emotional health matter. Recognize the pattern clearly, and don't fool yourself into believing she'll change on her own. If she constantly refuses accountability, walk away confidently. Guys, your happiness and self-respect are non-negotiable. When you recognize these toxic behaviors, disrespect, manipulation, dishonesty, ungratefulness, threats, or refusal to be accountable, you must trust yourself and walk away. Staying won't fix her, it'll only break you. Real strength means knowing when it's time to protect yourself and find someone who values, respects, and appreciates the man you are. You deserve peace, respect, and genuine love. Never settle for less. Choose yourself first, and the right woman will follow. Remember, walking away isn't defeat. It's the greatest victory for your dignity and future happiness.